House Cargyll was a noble house from the Crownlands, with the location of their seat currently not known to us. According to some sources, the house blazoned its arms with a golden goose on bendy cinster, black and red. By the time of the main books, the house is considered extinct, with the circumstances around their fall not known. However, what we do know that they were still at least active during the year 209 AC, as the banner of House Cargyll, belonging to Sir Clarence Cargyll, was seen by Sir Duncan the Tall at the infamous tourney at Ashford Meadow, thus meaning their fall occurred sometime between 209 and 298 AC. While we don't know much about their early history, they did play a huge role in the history of Westeros during the build-up of the Targaryen Civil War, known as the Dance of the Dragons. Specifically, the actions of the twins, Sir Erryk and Sir Arryk Cargyll, whom were both members of the Kingsguard, King Viserys I Targaryen. The twins were said to be physically identical, to the point that even their fellow Kingsguard knights could not differentiate between them. Before the Dance of the Dragons tore the realm apart, we know that Sir Erryk and Sir Arryk were both unhorsed by Sir Criston Coles at the tourney for King Viserys I's ascension at Maidenpool in 105 AC. By the year 120 AC, King Viserys I Targaryen had made Erryk the sworn shield of Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen, replacing the disgraced Harwin Strong. According to Septon Eustace, Arryk is said to have found Prince Daemon Targaryen, the Rogue Prince, and Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen in bed together a few months after the tourney to celebrate King Viserys and Queen Alicent Hightower's 5th anniversary. However, there are several conflicting accounts of the events, some that do not even mention either of the twins. Ultimately, the legacy of Erryk and Arryk, and of House Cargyll as a whole, would come during the Dance of the Dragons. The Kingsguard are sworn to protect their king and queen from all threats. If they lose their life performing this duty, it would be seen as an honourable death. But what would happen when the members of the Kingsguard themselves could not agree who the monarch they are sworn to protect actually is? This was the case in 129 AC, during the outbreak of the Targaryen Civil War known as the Dance of the Dragons, wherein half the Kingsguard sided with Queen Rhaenyra, and the other half, King Aegon. Just as this was a civil war between members of House Targaryen, it was also one between the sworn and noble members of the Kingsguard. After the death of King Viserys Targaryen, the first of his name, Sir Erryk Cargyll followed the other Kingsguard knights, Sir Steffon Darkland and Sir Laurent Marband, in siding with the Blacks, joining the Queensguard of Rhaenyra Targaryen on Dragonstone, with Erryk also becoming a trusted member of Queen Rhaenyra's Black Council. However, his twin, Sir Arryk, also a member of the Kingsguard, supported King Aegon II Targaryen and the Green faction in King's Landing, remaining there with the rest of the Kingsguard and their commander, Sir Criston Coles. Before the war between the two factions turned bloody, when negotiations still seemed a possibility, Sir Arryk travelled in the retinue of the Grand Maester Orwyle, when he travelled from King's Landing to Dragonstone in an unsuccessful attempt to reconcile the rival Targaryen claims to the throne. A song composed long after the fact claims that before Sir Arryk left Dragonstone to return home, each brother tried to convince the other to switch sides. According to this song, when this attempt failed, they exchanged declarations of love and parted, knowing that when they next meet, it would be as enemies. While it was possible that such a farewell did indeed take place, and in all likelihood probably did, there is no historical record of it. Two events transpired that turned the war from one of words to one of blood. Lucerys Velaryon, the son of Rhaenyra, was killed in an incident involving Aemon Targaryen in the skies above Shipbreaker Bay. As retaliation for Lucerys' death, Prince Daemon Targaryen ordered the murder of one of King Aegon's children in the infamous Blood and Cheese incident. King Aegon desired to avenge the murder of his heir by means of an attack on Dragonstone, descending on the island's citadel on Dragonback to seize or slay his half-sister and her bastard sons. It took all of the Green Council to dissuade him. Sir Criston Coles urged an entirely different course. The Pretender Queen had made use of stealth and treachery to kill Prince Jaehaerys, Coles said. Coles suggested that they do the same. "We will pay the princess back in her own blood," he told the king. The instrument the Lord Commander of the Kingsguard chose for this task, the task of the King's Vengeance, was his own sworn brother, Sir Erryk Cargyll. Sir Erryk was said to be intimately familiar with the ancient seat of House Targaryen, having visited there many times during the reign of King Viserys. Many fishermen still piled the waters of Blackwater Bay, for Dragonstone depended on the sea for sustenance. It would be a simple thing to deliver Cargyll to the fishing village under the castle. From there he can make his own way to the Queen, and Sir Erryk and his brother Sir Erryk were twins, identical in all respects, with not even their fellow Kingsguard being able to tell the two apart. Once clad in white, Sir Erryk should be able to move freely about the castle without any questions being asked of him. Sir Criston suggested that any guard who chanced to encounter him would surely mistake him for his twin brother. Sir Erryk did not undertake this mission happily. In fact, Septon Eustace suggests the troubled knight visited the Red Keep Sept on the night he was meant to set sail, to pray for forgiveness from the mother. Yet as the Kingsguard swore to obey the king and their commander, he had no choice in honour but to make his way to Dragonstone, clad in the salt-stained garb of a simple fisherman. The actual true purpose of Sir Erryk's mission remains a matter of some contention. Grand Maester Munkin suggests to us that Cargyll had been commanded to slay Rhaenyra, putting an end to the rebellion at a stroke, while the fool Mushroom insists her sons were actually Cargill's prey, that Aegon II wished to wash out the blood of his own murdered son with that of his bastard nephews, Viserys and Joffrey. Sir Erryk came ashore without hindrance, donning his armour and white cloak, and had no trouble gaining entrance to the castle in the guise of his twin, just as Criston Coles had planned. Deep in the heart of Dragonstone, as he was making his way to the royal apartments, the gods brought him face to face with Sir Erryk Cargyll himself, who knew at once what his brother's presence meant. The singers tell us that Sir Erryk said, "I love you, brother," as he unsheathed his blade, and Sir Erryk replied, "And I you, brother," as he drew his own. It is said that the twins battled for the best part of an hour. Grand Maester Munkin says the clash of steel on steel woke half of the Queen's court, but the onlookers could only stand by helplessly and watch, for no man could tell which brother was which. In the end, Sir Erryk and Sir Erryk dealt each other mortal wounds, and died in one another's arms, with tears upon their cheeks. The full Mushroom's account of the events is shorter, saltier, and altogether a whole lot nastier. Mushroom claims the fight lasted only moments. There was no declarations of brotherly love. Each Cargyll, in fact, denounced the other as a traitor, and they clashed. Sir Erryk, standing above his twin on the spiral steps, struck the first mortal blow, a savage downward cut that nigh took off his brother's sword arm. But as he collapsed, Sir Erryk grasped his slayer's white cloak and pulled him close enough to drive his dagger deep into his belly. Sir Erryk was dead before the first guards arrived, but Sir Erryk took 4 days to die of a gut wound, screaming in horrible pain and cursing his traitor brother all the while. For obvious reasons, singers and storytellers have shown a marked preference for the tale as told by Munkin. Maesters and other scholars alike must make their own determination as to which version is more likely. All that Septon Eustace says on the matter is that the Cargyll twins slew each other, and there we must leave it. But the lesson to be taken away from this story is civil war between members of House Targaryen not only divides the house, the High Lords, the small folk, and the members of the Kingsguard, but 2 brothers who lost their lives defending the rights of the claimants they believed were the rightful rulers of Westeros. The legacy and song of the twins reaches even into the timeline of the main book series during the Baratheon era of Westeros, meaning some part of their house still lingers in memory. During A Game of Thrones, Bran Stark recalls the stories of several legendary members of the Kingsguard, including that of Sir Erryk and Sir Arryk, and how they killed each other during the Dance of the Dragons. And later in the events as seen in A Clash of Kings, when Joffrey Baratheon chides his brother Prince Tommen for crying, Sansa Stark says that the twins Sir Erryk and Sir Erryk died with tears on their cheeks after each had mortally wounded the other. During a storm of swords, Sansa Stark encounters Lady Olenna Tyrell, whose personal guards are twins named Erryk and Arryk, who are evidently named after the legendary Kingsguard knights. And finally, during the events of A Feast for Crows, Queen Cersei Lannister thinks to herself that if Sir Loras Tyrell returns from the siege of Dragonstone, she will send him to deal with Bronn at Stokeworth. She hopes that each of them will kill the other, like Sir Erryk and Arryk. While there is still much we have to learn about House Cargyll, the impact they left behind on the Seven Kingdoms via the twin knights of the Kingsguard cannot be understated.